Right.
whatever the solution is, I think that ought to be kept in mind.
But if the council moved to 6, we move our board to 5 to 5:15.
And a lot of people get off at 5 or travel back to town. Not that those meetings are hugely attended, ours a lot of times aren't either, so, but I think you ought to conclude it if you don't have to.
I'm gonna check back in a minute and see how long we've been averaging, or how many times we went over half an hour.
I was thinking 2 weeks ago we went 45, but
44 minutes.
44.
That's the first time in a long time.
Yeah. So
We have several meetings in a month, so we shouldn't have long meetings.
sometimes everything just falls on the same day.
I know that you have to have an ordinance for the council to set up a setting time. So does that have to be so strict that if the board of works ran over 10 or 15 minutes and held the council meeting up, does that make that the end of the world?
I don't know, I'd have to look up the opinion of the open door of public access.
See, that's what you'd have to, I
You
don't
would
know
say
about.
15, 20 minutes is okay to wait, because I've asked.
Because that's similar to BZA and APC, yeah, happens all the time.
They've gone a lot longer than.
Right.
They have.
Yeah. Sometimes an hour.
So if the council's willing to entertain it, we'll get something drafted up, put it blank, whether it's 6 or 6:30, you guys can set the time at the next meeting, so we'll get something drafted up. All right, that's all the items on the agenda. We'll move next to council comments and requests, starting with President Pro Tem Pearson.
I have none.
Councilman Traeger?
None.
Councilman Shotley?
None.
Councilman Seward?
None.
Councilman Garrison?
Yes. We've been going around and we're writing people up about their yards and the way things are looking. The old Globe Bow area, it's just terrible looking. How do them people down there ever want to clean up their neighborhood because they feel like they're in the middle
Of a dump.
of a dump?
Is that where next day containers at?
Yes.
And I
I
did.
mean, the weeds are growing, they don't have, just something simple like the weave through the fence so that you don't have to look at all that. You're still gonna see the containers 47 feet high in here, but the weeds are just out of control. It just looks unkept, and we go around and we complain to our citizens, hey, your yard's 10 inches high. We need to tell them people out there they need to clean that up.
I can do that, and I think you brought it up last year, the year before, and they were pretty responsive. I know they had a
Yeah,
pile
they
of tires
killed the
removed,
weeds.
and they're,
They didn't take them down, they sprayed them, killed them.
all right, I can reach out to the property owners.
That's all I have.
All right, anything further from the council? Open it up for public comment? Yes, Mr. Watson?
Thank you for taking care of Mr. Christ's request, but you missed the opportunity. You need to go out and take a look at what he's done. He's a young businessman, he's bought a building, he's cleaned it up already, it looks 10 times better than it did. You need to thank him for what he's done. You missed the opportunity to thank a small businessman, to make things look a lot better in this community. He hadn't asked for any grants from anybody, hadn't asked for any money, he's taking care of it, and it looks a whole lot better.
Does look good.
Thank you, Mr. Price.
Also, we have a new business coming in on the square. It's a, oh golly.
It's the painting
Um,
and wine.
It's an employment type agency. It's going in where Quirks and, where he was there next to the jewelry store. It's a lady from California, and I think she has a partner from Battleground, but they're getting ready to, they're doing some work in there, and they're getting ready to open up. I think Quirk and McCamick went up on the hill, did they not?
Just court, but
Thank you. Public comment? Yes, sir.
I did have a question. I drove down there to this community building, and now they have their vans parked there. When they have all their vans there, that takes up half the parking lot. If you were to rent that out, where would those vans supposed to be put, or are they supposed to stay there? noticed that, wondered if that angle parking would be helpful.
And that's something that we need to talk about. Councilman Shockley, I believe, at the last committee meeting, brought up the idea of, after the approach, having angle parking between the approach on Washington Street and the alley on Washington Street. I don't know how long those vans are. I don't imagine they're over 20 foot, but
Just the one is large, and it doesn't move very often. The one that is kind of like a bus. The rest of them are more like just
regular bands.
regular people.
Helter Skelter is taking up the whole thing, I agree with you.
I had seen their vans that are built today.
Moved them Friday.
Takes up a lot. So if you were to rent it out, it would really cut down on the parking.
how many are there? 6?
No.
What we done, Marcia, when the mayor was down there at last Thursday's meeting, him and I went out and discussed the parallel parking. Okay, this way. And he said something about that if we could get 20 foot by angle parking, we could park, we would gain about 6 to 7 parking spaces in there, in that area. We also looked at it because Jeff's truck was sitting on the road and there was a van sitting on the other side of the alley. So we could get a pretty good idea about what would be there, right?
Yeah, you couldn't parallel park in there because with a 20 foot,
Yeah,
9 by 20 is your normal parking spot. 20 foot would extend into the roadway a little bit, so you'd have to put it at an angle and
you could park in there at an angle and that would solve the problem.
so you're in favor of that? Thank you.
Well, maybe we can discuss that with, Brenda too, and kind of get something worked out as far as where to park those, anyway.
There is room on the back.
Yeah.
If you kind of protect that gas line.
Yeah.
The problem is, it's back there where kids can play and it's not, well, it's lit, even if it's lit, though, it's not visible from the front's the problem. And you're talking about a couple of
We're just gonna have to look at it and work it out.
Superintendent Lyons, do you have a comment?
Are you talking parallel parking on Washington Street from the alley to where their approach is gonna be?
Yeah, angle parking where the old approach was.
Or park buses there?
Yeah, I don't know. We have to
Keep in
look
mind,
at it.
you're gonna have an issue with whoever's pulling out of that parking lot no longer being able to see
Right.
with buses parked there.
Right, and we
Now,
tried
keep
to
in
take.
mind, you can also use Columbia Street if that time comes. They
Right.
would parallel park on Columbia Street probably.
Yeah.
That street's not used heavily. I just don't wanna see you put angle parking in and then have another site issue coming out of that lot.
Right, and we looked at that Thursday a little bit, and tried to kind of eyeball it to see, didn't look like it was a huge deal, just because the vehicles would be out of the roadway completely. And you don't have anything from the left.
I haven't measured it, but I'm just envisioning those buses sitting there that
Yeah,
but you do have the ability of using Columbia Street, which has very little to no traffic on it.
Thanks, Superintendent. Thank you, Mr. Jarrett. Any other public comment? I didn't even put you on here. Clerk Treasurer Aldridge.
Yeah,
I
not
remember
even
you.
on there?
No.
Well, I just came it out.
You are on this agenda.
Yeah, I'm on the first one, not the second one. And nothing really other than, yeah. This morning I came into work and you know how sometimes you just think, I'm forgetting something? I might have been here maybe 20 minutes, half an hour, and it dawned on me. It's July 2nd, bond payments were due. Usually I get them ready ahead of time because they're something to get ready. But we made our 3 bond payments today and made them on time. And Huntington Bank called me and confirmed they had them before me. So the 3 bond payments were made on time.
And also State Board of Accounts is here and
Yes.
working and bothering you a lot.
Yeah, we've got a different situation this year because I think some of you are familiar, a few years ago, they released quite a few state board auditors. And in the interim time, they have gotten behind. So our auditors from this area used to go out. They used to farm them out to other areas. But then they farmed them out so much, our district has gotten behind. So now we have 3 young men from the northern part of the state, or up north, that drive down here, stay all week in Lafayette, and stay here and work. Go back home on Thursday night normally, but they work overtime now. Hallelujah. So they're here now on Friday too, and don't leave on Thursday a lot. But one day, we've had the 3 of them all the time, but then the one day we had 5 in here at one time. So you don't get much rest downstairs, because even though you have them up here, they're back downstairs about every, one of them is, about every 15, 20 minutes. So it's an experiment. It's an audit. They're auditing 2 years, 16 and 17, and one's a federal audit and one's just a regular audit. So.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Is there a new airport manager?
Yes.
Were you gonna announce that?
Well, I haven't heard back from him.
Oh.
They've made a decision, but
Okay.
I haven't received confirmation from him.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm waiting to hear that.
And are you gonna get rid of that 172 out there in the back?
We're working on it.
Yeah?
Yeah, and actually something I may bring up at the next city council meeting. I didn't have much time this last week. There's an ordinance that we could pass about derelict, disabled, abandoned aircraft. Something I didn't think we would need to have, but there's an airplane that's been sitting out there for decades.
It's been drug around. I mean, it's been in different places at that airport for lots of years. Lots of years.
That tie down.
That's,
Yeah.
It was tied down for so long.
Yeah.
It's a gentleman from Lafayette,
they haven't had
and I
time.
can't think of his name.
I can't right now.
We've attempted to resolve this by sending letters and please remove, and we'll attempt further legal action, no response. I
Well, a
don't-
couple times he actually did respond to threatening
Well,
letters. And
Right,
some-
but that's been, I don't quote me on the year, but I think it's been since around, it's been several years. I better not say the year because I'm not certain of it. We've been, within the past 6 months, really trying to reach out to him, and it's just not gonna happen, so. At one point, he was paying a fee, and then that stopped as well, and then he started again, and so. It's been a little odd.
Question. My question is, when are we going to start budget meeting? I mean, it's July and usually.
So when we made the schedule for this year, I think we put the workshops August 13th and 14th. Give me just a second, because I don't have it on my calendar, but I know it's on the public notice that's on the door, so on your way out, you can see. I was thinking it was the second week of August.
Yes.
And we changed that last year because there's some items that the county needs to get in for us to be able to see what our revenue is gonna be, or at least anticipate property tax revenue. It is 13th and 14th.
Well, that's what you said at the meeting that I put it on my calendar. So if you've changed it, then you need to let me know, but that is what you said.
Now, I think we said that in a resolution last year in December. But maybe not. But it will be after our next council meeting. Any other comments?
I do have a question, if Councilman Ramirez comment about next day's lot over there, just because I'm one of them that sprays most of that stuff over there. Is that not considered to be county property and not city property?
That's within city limits.
Okay. I was under the impression that city limits stopped at Roughing Avenue with my meeting.
It does on the east side of the road.
They just incorporated the
Yeah.
businesses.
You ought to look on GIS, it's funny.
I know my property does that. My property sits on the other side of the road, so I had this conversation with Aaron an hour ago, so.
It's the county's road, the city limits on the west side.
Yeah.
The track, now, railroad track going through there separates city and county.
On the east side of the road it does, but then it stops.
So is the Metzger Lumber Company in the TIF district?
It's been a while since I looked at the map.
Me too.
P&R and Globe are.
Yeah, they are. It seems like it's on both sides of Washington Street, but it's been a long time since I've been there.
I can't tell you. That's a good question. Can look into that.
I was hoping you'd say
Any other comments? Hearing none, there's one last motion to be made.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Time is 8:23 p.m. They did. Mr. Bradshaw.
I mean,